Hey guys, what is going on? So just want to let you know that I caught the sickness that is going around that you can't really talk about. I think that's just a monetization thing, which I don't really care about. So anyway, I got COVID, and that's kind of making things a little bit difficult in terms of my plans for the rest of this bulk. So I just kind of want to go over some of that with you, be transparent about it, and ask for some feedback on what you guys want to see in terms of how I handle this. Okay, so to go over how the symptoms and stuff like that and how that affected my training. I just tested positive for it on Thursday. So, I'll probably still have symptoms, but I think the worst of my symptoms are already over. So basically what happened is I had one training day that was a bad day and I still did my workout. I was still strong, but I just couldn't really do the rest of my workout. Like I only did the main things that I had to do. I took the next 2 days off because I just wasn't feeling up to training those days. I trained yesterday, just very little, just like bare minimum stuff. And then I trained today, same thing, bare minimum stuff. So I'm really just not hitting the volume that I would like. I don't think my work capacity is where it should be. And especially during the days that I skipped, I don't think I really should have been training those days. So it's just kind of very different from my typical very high volume workout every day for a long period of time approach. And that kind of throws things off for me a little bit when I tend to pull my volume. So the only reason I mentioned this is because I was in the middle of a bench peaking program. So I talked about it in a previous video, but I was planning on hitting a 425 bench by the end of this month. For those of you who don't know, my bench PR is 405, but I've been hitting a lot of volume PRs since then. So 425 seems like a very doable thing, especially when you consider that this program being hyper specific on bench and trying to, utilize turkesterone and stuff like that to be able to hit 425, I think it was very likely to happen. This kind of throws things out of whack. And I asked on Instagram what you guys thought. I know most of you guys don't follow me on Instagram, but I asked, is this just a sign that I should cut early or should I extend the bulk? Most of you guys said that I should cut, and that was kind of what I was leaning on for a little bit. But considering how strong I still feel, even though I still have COVID and stuff, I figured let me just try and see if I can still hit the PRs, and then, cut after that basically. And so the thing is, I don't want to cut until the weather is nice enough where I want to walk outside all the time, because I try to line up my cuts when the seasons are appropriate, because obviously you want to be cut for summer, you want to be outside all the time in summer, you burn all these calories walking everywhere, right? So for me, I really wanted to line that up. And if I were to extend the cut in extend the cut or extend the bulk, however you want to look at it, if I were to keep bulking into summer, I think that would be problematic for multiple reasons. So I'm kind of don't really want to do that. So I'm curious what you guys think in terms of, should I try and go for a bench PR and then cut immediately after? Should I continue the bulk for a little bit longer and see how long I can take it? And another thing that I've really wanted to kind of discuss is a lot of people, are very, they think that you can't hit PRs and cuts, and it's something that I've done consistently throughout recent years. And I kind of would like to save my PRs because I'm not expecting to hit a 425 bench on a bulk by the end of this bulk and then hit 435 in my cut. But I do think if let's say my max is 405 right now for bench, if I were to cut, I think I could still hit a PR, maybe 415, maybe 425 in my cut. And a lot of people are curious, how do I do that? How do I train? What does my diet look like? A lot of stuff like that. And that would kind of give me the opportunity to talk about some of those things, because I think I do a pretty good job of preserving muscle, preserving strength, and actually being able to put on some size and potentially, or some strength and potentially some size in my cuts. It's something that I think is partially genetic, but partially due to my approach in terms of training and dieting and stuff like that. So if you guys are interested in that, I might just hold off on the PRs if I get enough support and people want to see that. Because for me, to be honest, I've kind of accepted that this whole thing might make my 425, I might have 415 in me, but 425, I feel like I was kind of ready to do that, and this is kind of throwing it off a little bit. I don't know for sure. And then another thing is I get a lot of people asking, you know, what happens when you come off turkesterone? What happens, you know, when you cut? Are you going to lose all your size, all your gains, stuff like that? And, you know, I've had a lot of you guys tell me that you've come off this stuff, and obviously you lose the effects of it in terms of it improving your workouts, but you keep your gains in the same way that I would imagine coming off of creatine would be like. Like, it's not like you lose all your gains that you made on creatine, but you don't, like, you're no longer on creatine, right? So, I'm considering just coming off turkesterone and stuff like that over the course of this cut, and seeing if I can hit some PRs and seeing what would happen in terms of my strength. Because some people are under the assumption that I'm going to like wither away or something like that. So curious what you guys think on that. I just want input. At the end of the day, I'm going to make the decision, obviously, but I'm curious what you guys think. I'm very open to coming off everything in terms of like Sigma, in terms of, which is a pretty recent thing for me, in terms of turkesterone, stuff like that. I'm not using ectosterone right now, but there was a time where I was. Currently, I'm just on turkesterone, but, you know, just saying, okay, let's hop off those things over the cut and just see what happens, you know, and then go from there. That's something I'm considering. I'm not saying I will do that or won't, but just curious what you guys think about all that. And I just kind of don't know exactly what I want to do with my training and dieting and supplementation and all this stuff now that this has happened. And I was already planning on cutting anyway, so I was kind of expecting to shift gears as it was. So just curious what you guys think about that, and just kind of throwing these ideas out there to let you guys know that I'm considering changing some things up. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. I'll keep you updated, and I'll talk to you soon.